Sometimes, the smallest moment can change a life forever, and sometimes, it happens in a room full of people who never expected anything more than an ordinary evening. Tonight's story begins inside an elegant, high-end restaurant, where powerful men gathered in expensive suits and crystal chandeliers glowed above them. But among all the noise, laughter, and clinking glasses, one man noticed something no one else did. A billionaire, and a bruise, and what he chose to do next shocked the entire city. Before we begin, if you love powerful stories about good hearts, kindness, and humanity, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment below. Your support helps us share more inspiring stories right here on Kindness Action. Now, let's get into the story. Her name was Lily. At 24, she worked double shifts, carried trays heavier than they looked, and balanced smiles even heavier than the weight of her responsibilities. She never complained, never asked for help, and never missed a shift. To the world around her, she was just another hard-working waitress trying to make ends meet. But behind her sleeve, hidden beneath the neat, crisp uniform, was a bruise. Dark. Round. Fresh. A bruise she had hoped no one would ever see. She pulled down her sleeve whenever someone walked by. She held her arm tightly when she felt eyes drift toward her. And she prayed for the night to end quickly. Across the room sat William Hartman, one of the most influential businessmen in the state. Everyone recognized him, though he never seemed to care for that attention. He was the kind of man who noticed things others didn't, small details, tiny changes, quiet suffering behind polite smiles. And that night, his eyes landed on Lily. He watched as she walked from table to table, her smile perfectly practiced, yet trembling at the edges. When she accidentally bumped into a chair and winced sharply, he saw her clutch her arm. That's when he noticed the bruise. Lily approached his table, not realizing she was being carefully observed. She set down the water glasses, but as she turned to place a plate, her sleeve shifted, revealing the dark, swollen mark on her forearm. William didn't react with shock. Not with anger. He reacted with concern, gentle, human concern. "Miss," he said softly, "are you all right?" Lily froze. Most people didn't ask questions like that. Most didn't look closely enough to notice something was wrong. She quickly tugged her sleeve down, mumbling, "I'm fine, sir. Just clumsy. It's nothing." But her voice cracked on the last word. William didn't push her, not yet. But he also didn't look away. Minutes later, he watched her drop a glass in the kitchen doorway when a man's raised voice startled her. Her hands shook as she apologized again and again. She wasn't just scared, she was used to being scared. And that broke something inside him. After dinner, William quietly asked the restaurant manager if he could speak to Lily privately, assuring them it was not a complaint. Lily stepped into the small side hallway, nervous and confused. "Lily," he began gently, "you don't have to tell me anything you don't want to. But I saw your arm. Someone hurt you." Her eyes immediately filled with tears. She turned away, wiping them quickly. "Please, sir. I can't lose this job. I need it." "This isn't about your job," he assured her. "It's about your safety." That one sentence, spoken with sincerity instead of judgment, broke down the emotional walls she had built to survive. In a shaky voice, she told him about her boyfriend, the man who promised to love her but controlled everything she did, everywhere she went, everyone she spoke to. She told him this wasn't the first bruise. Or the second. Or even the third. She whispered, "I don't know how to leave." And William responded with words she never expected. "You won't leave alone." That moment changed everything. The next morning, William used his influence not to gain power, but to protect someone who had none. He contacted a women's shelter he had been funding for years, arranged immediate placement for Lily, and ensured her transition would be safe and anonymous. But he didn't stop there. He provided her with legal support. Connected her with a trauma counselor. and offered her a job, one with flexible hours, safety, and a fresh start. Lily cried when she realized someone finally believed her. Someone cared enough to help without wanting anything in return. The story could have ended there, but it didn't. A week later, William posted a simple message on social media, not revealing Lily's identity, not sharing her story, but addressing the importance of noticing the quiet suffering around us, and choosing kindness. He wrote, "Sometimes the bruise you see isn't the only one they carry. Be the person who notices. Be the person who helps." The post went viral overnight. Thousands of women commented, sharing their own hidden scars. People across the city began donating to shelters, volunteering, supporting survivors, and starting conversations that had been ignored for too long. Lily, now safe and healing, watched the world respond with tears in her eyes. She realized that one moment of kindness, one person willing to see her pain, had sparked a movement she never expected. Months later, Lily stood in the lobby of William's company. She was no longer the scared waitress hiding bruises behind her sleeve. She was confident, strong, hopeful. And she had become a volunteer at the same shelter that helped her, determined to help others the way she had been helped. And William, he never boasted about what he had done, he never sought praise, he simply smiled whenever he saw Lily growing into the life she always deserved. Because real kindness is quiet, it doesn't need attention, it simply changes lives. And so, the Billionaire's next move didn't just go viral, it saved a life, inspired a community, and reminded millions that kindness still exists.